Is the administration at all troubled or embarrassed that Iran is using these images, video, these soldiers with blindfolds, sailors with blindfolds on, or on their knees with their hands behind their back, for propaganda purposes?
Doug, primarily what we were concerned about when it came to our soldiers is making sure that they were released promptly and unharmed. And all of that happened within 14 hours of their originally being taken into Iranian custody when they drifted into Iranian territorial waters.
But were you troubled or embarrassed by Iran using these photos?
Well, I don't think there's any reason for anybody to be embarrassed. I think there's a reason for us to be certainly relieved that our servicemen and women who are protecting America in a very dangerous part of the world were released pretty shortly after they were taken into custody.
Can you tell us what the rules of engagement that these sailors and these boats were operating under in the Persian Gulf?
The Department of Defense could give you a better sense of the kind of instructions that they were given before their mission began. What the Secretary of Defense has said is that they erroneously ended up in Iranian territorial waters. The circumstances that led them to this particular situation are still being investigated by the Department of Defense, who's conducting interviews with the soldiers who were involved. So there's more that we'll learn about this particular situation.
It seems there's a lot of cryptic blocking of information coming out. It's been well over 24 hours now. We have instant communication. These soldiers have been interrogated by their superiors. Presumably, either the Pentagon or the White House would know precisely what went on. Yet there are so many gaps. In fact, we had a senior Pentagon official tell us yesterday that the administration is blocking the facts from getting out.
That's not true. I think we've been pretty transparent about this, and I think we've been transparent about the fact that if we had followed the advice of some of the Republican critics of the administration, we'd probably be in a bloody war with Iran right now over our sailors. The fact is, our sailors right now are out of harm's way. Their boats were released, and there was no loss of life. It's unclear to me, by the way, exactly how the safety and security of the United States or our men and women in uniform is advanced by starting a war with a nation like Iran that has an advanced military.
These sailors are part of the Fifth Fleet. If their instructions are to do nothing, and from all appearances, they were apprehended by much smaller boats, much less armed boats, and we understand that we're not in a state of war with Iran, which again raises questions about Iran's behavior, blindfolding these guys and holding them at gunpoint. But they're members of the Fifth Fleet. Is the Fifth Fleet under instructions to do nothing in the event of something like this happening?
Well, again, you'd have to check with the Fifth Fleet. I feel pretty confident in telling you they didn't just do nothing. But you can go ask them exactly what their response was. Whatever it was consistent with the president's strategy that led to the prompt and safe return of those sailors about 14 hours after they were originally taken into custody. Okay.